Perfect. Okay, so we start off with pain, and we know how many people struggle with pain today. And I think pain can be a very debilitating experience, especially if you've had it for a very, very long time. So today is all around truly or not fine tuning, because I say, because you cannot fine tune pain, but finding that sweet spot, finding that spot that's taking away the pain almost immediately. And that's what we can have with the LifeWave patches. So I just want to make absolutely sure that I am sharing my presentation, because sometimes it can do weird and wonderful things. No, absolutely, I'm sharing it, which is perfect. Okay, so let's start. So these are the LifeWave patches, the ICEWAVE in particular. So we do have some other patches that can also work for pain. That is the EON patch, and then also the X39. So X39 activates the GHK peptide, and then activates or elevates the GHK peptide, which then activates stem cells. But by default, it also helps with pain relief, because it works on the pain receptors of the body. So, you know, it's never an exact science with LifeWave. You do have to, it's a little a trial and error, but we do have very specific ones for pain. It just all depends on what your body is struggling with. So some of the ways that you can work on back pain and knee pain. So you see here that the ICEWAVE has a tan patch and a white patch. So there is 15 patches of each. So that makes up the 30 patches. It doesn't come with 30 tan patches and 30 white patches. So basically what I always say to clients is I let them sort of leave it on for 2 days, or otherwise they can remove it and they can replace it again the next day. I find sometimes when there's excessive pain, sometimes leaving the patches on for 1 or 2 days longer, in particular with the ICEWAVE, because there's only 15 patches and you want it to kind of last for 30 days. So there's a few variants that you can do. So we also need to remember that David Schmidt reminds us that if we leave the patches on all the time, we are going to stop the body from reacting to the light. So it gets used to it and then it no longer responds, which is not a good thing. However, we found in the beginning, when you start working on something like chronic pain, it does help to just keep those patches on a little longer. So you need to listen to your body and work it out for yourself, kind of thing. You can refer back to me and I can help and assist you, but just listening to your body and seeing what your body requires. Some people might have excessive amounts of pain that come from using the patches. And that's just the photolight therapy pushing its way through meridian pathways, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. However, it can cause massive pain. So removing the patches for that period of time, allowing the body to reset and then reapply them again is a really good idea. So you can judge. We never know what's happening in your body, but you can definitely revert back to me and I will help you with any other advice that I can give you. So working on a painful knee, you'll see that with the ICEWAVE patches, you work in a clock method. So either in a clock or otherwise an arrow method. I'll explain both to you. So first and foremost, we're going to work on the clock method. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the tan patch generally on the area of pain, okay? And you're going to use the white patch, you're going to use it like a clock around that area. So I would say about 5 or 10 centimeters away from the actual tan patch. And you'll start at 12 o'clock and you'll place the white patch at the 12 o'clock position. And then you'll wait a little, bend the knee a little bit, just see if you can walk around a bit and see if there's any pain relief, remembering how much pain you had before you started. So always give yourself a gauge of 1 to 10. How much pain do I have? Okay, it's about a 9. It's really sore. I can't walk on it. Okay, so placing the patches and then waiting a minute or two and seeing how you feel. Maybe the pain has gone right down to a 2, or maybe it hasn't done anything. So that's no problem. So you'll start at 12 o'clock and then you'll take that patch off. And what I do suggest that you do is when you are working with the patches, you'll see there's a little slit at the back that allows you to take the back off a little more easily. So I'm going to share with you what you're going to do is you're actually going to bend the back of bend the patch, and you'll see you can remove the paper on the back. So what you'll do is remove only the half of it so that you can apply that first before you take off the other half and then apply it directly to the skin. So once you've done that, you're going to place it then on the 3 o'clock position. You're going to do the very same thing. You're going to move around a bit and see if you can apply pressure to the knee, see if you can walk around a bit and see if that level of pain has decreased. If nothing, you're going to move it from the 3 to the 6. If nothing there, you're going to move it from the 6 to the 9. So what will happen is, and we almost 100% of the time will have pain relief depending on where they have placed it. Now, you can also, once you've gone to the 3 o'clock or the 6 o'clock or whichever one has given you the pain relief, at that point, if you've had massive pain relief, you can move it slightly to the left or slightly to the right, like you would a clock, and you can find the sweet spot. So that would be on you trial and error, just moving the patches around to see where you can have that amazing sweet spot where you can have that pain relief. The other one that I'm going to do on the right-hand side is sciatica pain. So we know that the sciatica nerve runs down the back into the middle of the buttocks and then down the back of the leg. And it can be very excruciating for people. And this is something that I think plagues a lot of golfers as well, is the sciatica. So it's because they put large amounts of pressure on their lower back, and this twisting and that sort of thing also allows the back or the spine to twist and sometimes pinches that nerve, and then they can't, release it. So one of the greatest things that you can do with sciatica is if you can get to someone who's got an inverter. It's an inverting bed, I don't know what they call it. So what you'll do is you stand, it's like a flat platform that's like you're going to lie on it. And then basically what happens is you're going to put strap your ankles into the bottom part, and someone's going to help you shift you upside down. So what that does is you're able to lie with your body weight, you're able to hang from your ankles, and your body weight is going to pull the spine down. And what that does is going to help the spine lengthen. And with doing that, it's going to help it readjust so that it can get off some of the nerves if it is actually sitting on some of the nerves. Sorry, I just want to move that over. So that's going to help you just lengthen the spine and realign the spine on its own so that it can actually shift and maybe give that nerve a little stretch so that when you're standing up again, it's allowed itself to realign itself, which is also great. I used to send my clients a lot to someone who had this inverting bed. So especially if you are someone that is really struggling. The other thing that you can do is you can definitely find yourself a monkey bar, which I think most of us can't even do anymore. But if you can find a monkey bar at a playground or whatever, just put your feet over if you can still do that, and then hang down just like the kiddies do, and that will also do the same thing. Otherwise, you can use something that we call child's pose. If you go and Google, you'll see that that's a yoga pose where you are actually sitting on your knees with your legs bent underneath you, and then you put your body forward with your arms in front of you with your nose on the ground, and you'll find that will also strengthen out. And if you can have someone help you and kind of just give your back gentle pushes to help it sort of stretch out a little bit more, you'll find that will give you a really nice stretch. So there's a few ways that you can deal with sciatica pain. You can use the tan patch and the white patch on either side of the spine. Now, keeping in mind that we have the tan patch and the white patch. White is meant to go right and the tan is meant to go left. So what you're going to do is you're going to place around that area where the pain is, you're going to place the white patch on the right-hand side and the tan patch on the left-hand side of the back, as you've seen in the pictures that I have on the screen at the moment. The other one that you can do is placing the tan patch, the lower back, where the pain is. And then you're going to place the white one on the liver, where that's going to start cleaning out the system and really helping the liver meridian, because that's also associated with pain. You can go to the top of the spine, the shoulder part, and you can place the tan patch on the left-hand side and the white patch on the other side, and you can try that out. And you can also do that as a clock method as well. So you're going to still use that tan patch on the sore spot, and you're going to use the white patch around, and you may find just putting it on either side of the body may give you relief as well. So another thing I want to share with you is if you're working with animals, you're definitely not going to be able to ask them, where is your pain spot? However, what I do with animals is just making sure that it's where you see the discomfort, and you can give a little bit of pressure, and where the animal flinches or just moves a bit, you will be able to place the patch there. And then you can see just from movement, generally you can use it left and right. With horses, they basically do the white on the right hand side and the tan on the left. I won't be doing the horses today, but I will be sharing that with you on another day, where I'll show you how to give massive pain relief to horses who are really struggling with pain. So that's the first part of the scenario. What I would like to do perhaps maybe is, whilst I'm here with the knee, if you are struggling and you haven't got pain relief with the clock, you can then place the tan patch on the one side where the knee is really sore, and as an arrow would shoot right through your knee and go on the other side, you can place the white patch on the other side. So you can try the few variants that I've given you now to find that sweet spot for pain relief. So this is just a little bit more like I've explained. This is the clock method. You're placing the tan patch on the area of pain, the sore spot, and then you're going to use the white patch around it like a clock. So first starting at 12 o'clock, then going 3 o'clock, then going 6 o'clock, then going 9 o'clock. And as I explained to you, that if at 6 o'clock you got massive pain relief, you could either go more towards 3 o'clock and see if it actually relieved even more pain, or a little more to 9 o'clock. And you could see if that gave you enough pain. Once you found the place that gave you the pain relief, you would then take the rest of the backing off on the patch, stick it on that area, and that you would leave it there for at least 12 hours. So rule of thumb is 12 hours on, 12 hours off, so that we don't get used to the light therapy that's been given to the body. However, if there's massive pain relief, I would suggest that you try 12 hours and then even 24 hours to see which one gave you the most relief. Sometimes our bodies need more of a boost. This is the arrow method, which means that you place the tan perhaps maybe on a shoulder that's at the back. Place the tan patch there, and as an arrow would go right through your body, you place the white on the other side. So this is ICEWAVE placements for pain around the whole body. First and foremost, you're going to start on the bottom of the feet. The kidney one position is at the bottom, and you can place one tan and one white, right for white, left for tan. And to find that position, if you push your thumb in the middle of your pad of your foot, where you see the bones kind of come up, you're placing the patches there. The other one that you're going to do is lung 9. So that's just on the wrist. You'll see the placement, and you do get a lovely little book with your ICEWAVE patches, which will explain all of this to you. It's much thicker than the other little booklets and brochures that we get with the other patches. So you will be able to get this with your patches so that you can try them all out. Then the third position is the triple wormer, also associated with the hormones. And that one is going to be on the top of the wrists. Then you're going to have the number 4th position, which is the heart 3. And that's on the inside of your elbow. You'll find if you push, it's the most tender part. You'll see it's a little sore and tender. That's the spot that you're going to place the patch. The other patch, the place patchments that you can do is the triple burner 15, which is the top of the shoulders. So you can place it on there. So those are a few of the places that you can place the patches. If you have severe pain in your whole body, you may even want to patch the bottom and the top of your body, just in the beginning to get the pain relief. So yet again, just the clock method. If you're working on a very sore shoulder, you'll see here that it will explain to you exactly what to do. So step 1 is placing the tan patch on the sorest spot of your shoulder. Step 2, you're going to place it at what would look like the 12 o'clock of a clock. Step 3 would be like your 3 o'clock on the other side of the shoulder. So shoulders are a little tricky to try and get an exact clock direction around that area, because you've got your neck and you've got your back and you've got your shoulder as well. So they're just showing you how you would do it. So then you'd put it on the other shoulder. That would be step 3. So step 4 would be below the actual tan patch, and step 5 would be towards the shoulder itself. Then you could move the white patch, as I said to you, right as an arrow would go right through your body to the other side, and you'd place it on the other side, depending on which shoulder you were trying to sort out pain. This is how quickly you can get relief from the ICEWAVE patches, and the Eon anti-inflammatory patches are just about the same. So both of these patches you could use for pain relief. And remember, we don't really know that it's inflammation unless it gets warm. If you feel that there's heat there, then you know that it's inflammation, and you will probably need to use your Eon patches. So how will you use your Eon patches with the ICEWAVE patches? What you can do is, we call it stacking. You can actually stack the Eon patch on top of the tan patch whilst you are using the white patch around. Okay. So we see so many wonderful athletes now starting to use the patches. They've been using them for a very long time, remembering that LifeWave has been around for over 17 years. And you'll see that LifeWave's success came a lot from athletes more than normal people, because athletes realized that there was nothing they were being given, so it was completely natural. They could use it while they were competing, and it was exceptionally effective. So you'll see here, there's a few patches she's got on her shoulder. It is ICEWAVE, and then also the brand new X39. You can even add the X49, because X49 works on strengthening the bones and also strengthening the muscles if you are having to deal with muscular relief or bone relief. So another thing I can share with you as well is, I always ask people, is it cold pain, like there's no warmth, or is it warm pain, on how to use glutathione and Eon. So if you are getting warm pain in that area, like for instance, a tennis elbow can be very warm and very painful, then I would suggest that you use the Eon patches. If you are getting no real pain, but you almost feel like it's someone drilling into your bones, it's so sore, I would suggest the glutathione, because what glutathione does is it actually removes the toxicity in bones that causes pain, which is really important for us to remember as well. So for instance, knee pain, you could use the ICEWAVE and the glutathione. We get really good results from using a glutathione on the inside of the knee and an X39 on the outside of the knee.
Now we're going to talk about how to use the ICEWAVE patches when someone is suffering with pain throughout their entire body. Now, very often, this is going to be the case when someone has an injury or someone's been suffering with something for a number of years or a number of months, but it's not a recent injury. So you can think about it that way when you're going to apply the patches. The first thing that you're going to do is start by applying the patches at the bottom of the feet at the location shown. Now, another thing that you can keep in mind is that when you're first getting started with LifeWave and you want to use the ICEWAVE patches and you may not be sure about where to apply them on the bottom of the feet. We found that location to really be amazing. So you'll have one set of ICEWAVE patches on the bottom of the feet. The next thing is to apply a second set of ICEWAVE patches at one of the locations that's in our instructions. Now, a good place to start is right up over here on the back of the wrist. We have found that this location helps to relieve pain throughout the entire body when used in combination with those points on the bottom of the feet. Now, just like our other patch placements, what we would want to do is find out if there was any change in the level of pain. So, Maddie, 0 is no pain, and you started at a 10. Has there been any change in the level of pain?
There's been a little bit of change. I would say my pain is now at an 8.
Pain is at an 8. Okay. Now what we're going to do is move the patches to the next location, and that's going to be on the inside of the elbow, right at this point here. And we don't need to wait very long. So 0 is no pain, and you started at a 10, then it came down to an 8. Has there been any change in your level of pain?
Yeah, I would say now my pain is at a 5.
At a 5, okay. If we left the patches there, the chances are that the pain is going to continue to reduce Getting 50% pain relief in about a minute is awfully good, but let's try one other location and see if we can reduce the pain even more. So we're going to remove the patches, and you'll notice that we're only using half of the adhesive. The reason for this is so that we can move the patches around very easily. Now, another location that I like when people have pain throughout the body is right up on top of the neck and shoulders. And a lot of people, of course, they carry their tension in their shoulders. So we find when you apply the patches there, it really gets great results. But let's find out. So Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10, it came down a little bit. How are you doing now?
Now I feel great. I think my pain's at a 0. It's gone.
Fantastic. So we're not going to do any better than a 0. So we would remove the backing on those patches and we would affix them to the skin. And then she, of course, could celebrate that she's out of pain. And this is really a wonderful gift that you can give to someone. So I would encourage you to practice these techniques. They work fantastic. We have over 70 clinical studies that document the effectiveness of these patches. And the important thing is that you can change someone's life today for the better with ICEWAVE.
Just let me stop my share because it tends to, give me 2 seconds. I just want to go back to my, I don't know why it does this. There we go. Just want to share the next video.
Now we're going to talk.
Sorry, just let me see.
Now we're going to talk about how to use the. Now we're going to talk about how to use the.
So sorry, I'm just trying to see why it does this. There we go. So let me show the other video quickly.
Now we're going to talk about how.
Most irritating when this happens. I just want to get the second one up. Okay, perfect. Just share my screen again.
Many of you suffer with headaches, and the ICEWAVE patches are a phenomenal tool for helping to relieve headaches, so you don't have to suffer. And what we're going to be doing is simply applying the white patch on the right side of the body and the tan patch on the left side of the body, move them through a few different locations, and you're going to find that one of these locations is going to work absolutely great. So let's go ahead and start. Maddie, I understand that you have a headache.
Yeah, my head has been killing me for the last few days.
Okay, so what we're going to do is apply the ICEWAVE patches at a few different points, and I just want you to let me know whether or not there's any change in the level of pain of your headache.
Okay, great.
So the first point is located on the hands, and this is a really easy point to find. When someone has a headache, most people are going to find that there is some pressure or some tension at this point, and we're simply going to apply the white patch on the right hand and the tan patch on the left hand. Many of you may recognize this point as being a very famous acupressure point for relieving headaches. We don't have to wait very long, and so Maddie, 0 is no pain, and let's say that you started at 10. Has there been any change in your headache?
A little bit, maybe to a 9 now, but it's still there.
Okay, well, we're certainly not happy with that. We only got the headache down 1 point. So let's go ahead now and move the patches to the second point. We don't need to wait. Now this location is located on the back of the hand like this, on the wrist, and it's about 3 finger widths or so from the crease in the wrist. The white patch is on the right side and the tan patch is on the left side. So again, we only need to wait 5 or 10 seconds. Maddie, you started at a 10 And then that last location, you came down to a 9. Has there been any change in your headache?
A little bit. Maybe now I'm at an 8.
Okay. So the headache came down a little bit, but we're still not satisfied. We'd like to get the pain level down more. So let's move to another location. Now, we know that when people have headaches, they carry a lot of tension in their neck and shoulders. So why don't we try applying the patches to one of the points along the neck? Now, the good thing about this location is that it's really easy to find because you can really use any points along the sides of the neck. We can just start at the base of the neck like that and apply the white patch to the right side of the head and the tan patch to the left. So once again, we ask, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. It came down a little bit to maybe an 8. And has there been any change?
Yeah, this helped a lot. I would say now my pain is down to a 4.
Okay, great. So the pain level is down to a 4. And now we have a choice to make. Usually what will happen is over the course of the next 20 minutes, the pain will continue to drop once you find an effective point like we just did. But let's say in this particular case, we want to try one more location. We could leave the patches there on the side of the neck. Getting it down to a 4 is great, and it should continue to drop. But let's just try one more location. Another location that we'll find that will work very, very well for headaches is the right temples. And you'll sometimes see that people will massage their temples when they have headaches. So we are going to go ahead and apply the patches to the left and right temple. So Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. We got down to a 4 on the last location. Has there been any change?
I'm to a 0 now. No
Down
more headaches.
down to a 0, and we have someone that's very happy, and we just helped relieve an annoying and really bad headache. So that's how you would use the ICEWAVE patches, using the instructions in our booklet and moving through the different points to relieve a headache in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to be talking about ICEWAVE patches now and how you can best use them to help relieve the pain of others. Now, one of the things that's important when you're working with someone that's suffering with pain is to make sure you ask them the right questions. So we're going to do, many of you, now we're going to talk about how to use the ICEWAVE.
Let me just make sure that I don't know why it doesn't flow on my program. Let me just make sure. I think this is the next one. I need to sort that out. There we go, and share.
We're going to be talking about ICEWAVE patches now and how you can best use them to help relieve the pain of others. Now, one of the things that's important when you're working with someone that's suffering with pain is to make sure you ask them the right questions. So we're going to do a walkthrough of this now so you have a good idea of what questions to ask and why. So first, you meet someone that's suffering with pain. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay, but I have some pain.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Whereabouts is your pain?
My pain is in my lower back.
And how long have you been suffering with this pain?
I've had this pain for a few months now.
A few months, okay. And are you in pain right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so please go ahead and point to where your pain is.
My pain is in my lower back right here.
Okay, now what we're going to do is apply a tan patch right at the location of the pain. And if you'll notice, we asked a few questions to clarify this. So first, we wanted to know where the pain was. Is she in pain now? Because we don't want to apply the patches. If someone's not in pain, we're not going to know if it worked or not. We also wanted to find out, was this a pain that was more recent or has it been going on longer? Because that will tend to affect how we're going to apply the patches. Next, it's very important that you have the person point to where the pain is so you get the point exactly correct. Now, this is going to be the clock method that we're going to use. and you apply the tan patch directly on top of the pain, and you start with the white patch above it. Now, the exact distance between the two is not important. If it's 3 inches or 6 inches, that's okay. The important thing is that it's about that distance away. Now, after you apply the patches, you don't need to wait very long, maybe just a few seconds, and then you go back and you ask the person, has there been any change in the level of pain? So now, Maddie, let's say that 0 is no pain and 10 is the level of pain that you started with. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain has dropped to about a 7.
Okay, fantastic. So we've had a 30% reduction in the level of pain, but I'm not satisfied with that yet. I'd like to get better pain relief. So let's go ahead and move the patches to the next location. And it's called the clock method or the cross method because we're simply going to be moving that white patch around the area of pain, and we're going to move the white patch around the tan patch. So think of the tan patch as being the center of the clock, and now the white patch is at the 3 o'clock position. We started at the 12, and now it's at 3 o'clock. So now again, we don't have to wait very long. And now, Maddie, 0 is no pain. We started at a 10. Your pain came down to a 7. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain is now only at a 4.
Okay, fantastic. We're really doing great. The pain level is at a 4. I'm still not satisfied though. I think we can do a little bit better. So let's move the patches one more time. And now we're going to go to the 6 o'clock position. And that's putting the white patch just below the tan one. And now we can go back again and ask. So 0 is no pain. We started at a 10. We got down to a 7, then to a 4. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain is completely gone. I'm at a 0 now.
Okay, fantastic. So now when the pain is at a 0, we can stop. And if you'll notice, what we did was we left only half the adhesive being used. That's so we can more easily move the patches around. So what we would do at this point is remove the backing from both the tan and the white patch and then affix them to those locations. You're also going to notice that we are applying patches to the top of the clothing, and this is perfectly fine. The patches will reflect infrared light, and infrared light travels easily through clothing. So in this example, you can easily apply the patches to the top of the clothing and expect to get pain relief. But of course, if you're using ICEWAVE by yourself, apply the patches directly to the skin, unless of course you're allergic to the adhesive, and then you would apply it on top of the clothing. But that's a very simple and easy way to use the ICEWAVE patches for pain relief using the clock method.
Okay, I just want to go out of here and stop my share. Just let me make sure that I'm getting to the next one. Okay, present. Sorry, hold on.
The ICEWAVE clock method.
Just let me do that. There we go. Oops.
The ICEWAVE clock method is an incredibly powerful way that you can help to relieve pain in yourself or in others. But when working with someone, there is a proper way to use the clock method. So let's talk about it now. And one of the things that you need to know is that when you're working with someone, what you say to them is very, very important because it's going to help to improve your results. So, Maddie, I understand that you have been suffering with some pain.
Yeah, a few weeks ago in the gym, I hurt my shoulder and it just hasn't felt the same since.
Okay, and are you in pain now?
I am.
Okay, so please go ahead and point to where the pain is.
The pain is right here, right on the outside of my shoulder.
Okay, so what we're going to do is the person that we're working with, we want to make sure that they're in pain now, because if they're not, you're not going to know if the product is working for them or not. You also want to find out, is this a more recent injury or something they've had for many years? Because that's going to affect how you use the patches. And we want the person also to point to where the pain is. That way, we're going to guarantee that we've got the tan patch directly on top of the pain. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take the white ICEWAVE patch. You'll notice that with both of these, we're only using half of the adhesive. And that's important because we want to be able to easily move the patches around when we're using them. So because it's called the clock method because the tan patch is the center of the clock and the white patch is going to be put at different positions. So let's go ahead and apply the white patch up on top of the shoulder. Maybe a little difficult to see on camera right now, but it's on top of the shoulder. We're going to pick a position that's 3 to 6 inches away from the tan patch. And now, Maddie, let's say 0 is no pain, and 10 is the pain that you started with. Has there been any change?
I haven't felt any change yet. It's still at a 10.
Okay. Another thing that we can do is we can ask her to move her arm and shoulder around. And do you still feel the same level of pain?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So not to panic because we have a number of ways that we can apply the patches. So now what we're going to do is move the white patch to a different location and we'll move it down over here. So this would be the 12 o'clock position on the clock and that would be the 3 o'clock position as an example. So now Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. We didn't get any change the first time, so has there been any change in your level of pain now?
There still really isn't any change.
Okay, and just move your arm around and tell me if there's any difference.
Not really. I'm still in a lot of pain.
Okay, so now we've tried the patches at 2 different locations and we haven't been able to get any pain relief yet. So now we're going to move the patch again, and this would be the 6 o'clock position. Now we have 2 different options here. When it's a problem with the shoulder, that's actually very interesting. We could use the standard method and we could apply the white patch just a few inches below the tan one. But one of the things that we found is that if you keep going down a little bit further, there's a pressure point right on the back of the wrist that works remarkably well at relieving pain. So we're still applying it at the 6 o'clock position, but because the pain is up on the shoulder, we're going to use this point on the back of the wrist. So now, Maddie, I'd like you to move your arm around and tell me, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. Has there been any change?
There's so much change. That basically fixed it. Wow.
Fantastic. So it's really as simple as that. If you follow those instructions and you follow the instructions that are in our booklet, you'll find that it's very, very easy to use the ICEWAVE patches and get great pain relief using the clock method.
So for those of you that definitely want to try our wonderful patches and see if they're going to aid you in your pain relief, you are more than welcome to get a hold of me. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. So just yet another, I'm just going to stop my share here and just